Are we started? Are we already started?
Dude, hot mic, bro.
I didn't know you hot mic'd me. All right, I'll open us up.
Do it.
Welcome to another episode of Unscripted Exchanges. We are here live. Well, not live, but we're in the studio. And we're ready to just fire off some stuff today. Got a lot of
Knock your socks off.
Dude, literally knock your socks, your shoes, your socks, maybe your sandals. maybe something else. Slippers. If you're listening to us in slippers, we're going to knock those off too. Literally all of it.
Knock your cap off.
Yeah, if you're wearing a hat, it's coming off. Hayden, I'm surprised yours didn't come off.
These headphones are on just so tight, that's why.
So close. Well, Hayden, I had a really amazing time last night.
Well, rub it in, would you?
Yeah, I'm going to rub it in.
Let's hear it.
I had a buddy, one of my best friends, him and his beautiful fiance, now wife, got married last night. And what was so fun about the experience, obviously just being in the one of the groomsmen and being a part of that and around that, and being included in that event was such a huge blessing. And I was so appreciative to be able to support him in that, both of them. But what was really amazing about the entire event was, the venue was phenomenal. The food was great. Like, everything kind of flowed together, went off without a hitch. And I got to run into a bunch of friends that I haven't seen in years. I mean, I'm talking like since high school, some of them. And it was just one of those nights where you get to like reconnect with people that you haven't seen. And I might not see them again for a while. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Turpin class of 2012 because you guys rock, and I enjoyed seeing every one of you. I'm not going to name drop everybody I ran into last night because we'd have a long list. If anybody that listens to us and knows me knows how much I like to talk. So great time last night. So happy to the new happily married couple, and just feeling really good. Just was a very, very fun, exciting night, and I met some amazing new people as well that I connected with. So overall, just having a great weekend.
What are your thoughts, or what's your take on, and you don't have to get too specific, but seeing some people that you haven't seen in a long time. Like, I'm sure it's nice to maybe, and I don't know if reconnect's the right word, but to catch up and see how some people are doing, and then there's definitely some people where it's like, well, there's a good thing that they're in the past, right?
Well, yeah, there's a couple things I'll point out about that. That's, I never like really small talk. I've just never been a big fan of it. So I've always like kind of veered away from, like, I'll open up maybe with, hey, how you doing? And then I just, okay, tell me about this, and we just dive in. I want to get into a real conversation. But that was funny because last night, and this, I feel like this happens to all of us. When you see somebody that you haven't seen in a while, you either are like, hey, I want to go talk, or not. A lot of the times we're like, oh, I want to avoid that because I want to avoid that awkward conversation or whatever. Well, last night I just literally like saw friends and people I hadn't seen, and we went up and just got immediately into conversations, and it was like so rewarding to not only hear the perception of what they think of me, but just to see what they have going on in their lives, right? What have I missed? I mean, I'm on social media a little bit, but I can't track everybody's, where, like, what they're doing, where they're at in their careers, where they're out, where they're living, all that stuff. So just getting to be able to like hear where their stories have taken them and what their next chapter is. I always like to ask people, what's up next? Like, what are you planning to do soon? Like, give me some like highlights of what you have that's exciting. I like to ask that question, and just to hear some of my friends and people I haven't seen in a while, like, give me their hopes, their dreams, and their plans. Like, people get excited about that. So again, I mean, I think I would encourage, our listeners, like, when you're in a setting or out at a store or a restaurant, you don't have to do it every time. But if you see somebody you haven't talked to in a while, they're not, like, most of the time they're going to be thinking the same thing you are, which is, I'd like to talk to them, I'd like to catch up, but I don't know what to say, so I'm going to avoid it. Be the person that doesn't avoid it. Be the person that goes up and says, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Take that extra 5 minutes to have a conversation, because you might, reconnect on a certain level. You might have shared interests, and honestly, it just makes everybody's day better.
Well, you're a natural when it comes to having conversations, which is awesome, by the way. I'm gassing you up here, and I think you do a really good job, too, of just having an intentional like as you said, you don't really care for small talk, but you're very intentional with like how you carry yourself in conversation with folks. Like you actually want to know how they're doing, what's going on in their life versus, good to see you. The weather's nice. That's my definition of small talk and shit like that. But anyhow, that's cool. I guess for me, I'm kind of a little bit different in terms of, and I get what you're saying. That is a great recommendation because, it's a two-way street. When you're out and you see someone that maybe you haven't seen in a long time, like, hey, go up and, check on in on them, see what's going on in their life. But there's definitely those people where it's just like, I really don't care anymore.
Right.
And I think that's fine. I mean...
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because I'm very protective of how I give out my energy. And that's probably just a personality difference as well.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't really care to know about, so-and-so anymore. Like, I wish them well, not like bad,
I know what
but
you're
it's
saying.
like, I keep saying, the conversations or the relationships that we had in the past were something in the past, and I'm only worried about now and in the future, and I just don't see us crossing paths.
It's not a negative. It's a personality thing. I mean, my personality, that is part of who I am. That's not something I learn. That's not something when I say go out of your way, like I do that, but that's because I want to do that. That's part of that's what you said. You gassed me up. That's what fills my engine, man. Yeah. That's what charges my battery is interacting with people and hearing how they're doing. I mean, I love the energy I get back from people when I do that too. Like that fuels me.
Yeah, I was just about to say that you feed off of the energy of how other people are doing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it gets me to see people excited about their lives and what they've got going on. Like that makes me excited because I'm like, man, that's great. Like you're doing well. Like, and it's just it's definitely a personality thing because I totally get it. I mean, not everybody's like me, so I'm not taking it with a grain of salt when I say go up to people and.
I don't want people to. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, thinking, "Oh, that Hayden guy's an asshole." I mean, maybe I am. I try not to be, but yeah, there's certain people where if I saw them out and they were across let's say the room, or let's say we're at a restaurant. I'm getting very specific here, and I saw them a few tables away. Like, probably not going to get up and go and say hi to them if I knew them 10 years ago.
Right. Well,
I mean, it just depends.
And it's always the hard thing though too. And this is what is difficult for me. This is one thing that is difficult with those conversations for me. Is knowing when you go do that, you also are open. Like, let's say you're in a restaurant, right? And you see somebody a couple of tables down and you want to go say hi. Like, you go out of your way to go say hi, but then how do you end the conversation? Right? Like, hey, let's talk for a minute, but then it's like, I really don't want to sit here and talk and catch up.
In my mind, I think I'm so good at ending it, but I end it so quickly though, because I have two or three, exchanges, and I'm but it was so good catching up with you. Like, I'll see you around. I gotta get back or something like that.
No,
but it's only a 30-second conversation, which in my mind seems like it's 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, what gets me too is these conversations. We're going on a rabbit hole with this, but you ever get in a conversation and when you do that. What does for me, what a trigger of I'm uninterested is when somebody says something that doesn't align with how I think of the world. I'm pretty good at listening to other people's opinions, but when I hear somebody start being if the conversation goes a route of judging other people or talking about other people or wanting what other people have this, because a lot of the conversation you get into oh, it must be nice to be them or what. My brain goes, all right, I'm getting out of this conversation. I immediately, which is it's a bad habit of mine because I sometimes I'll just walk away from a conversation.
I've done that myself too.
I'll be okay, and I'll wait for them to turn, and I leave.
Yeah.
They turn back around. They're like, "What happened to Cole?" It's
see, you do the same at times where you're not going to put out that energy.
I dropped the mic.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah, sorry, I have to use the restroom. But no, overall, yeah. I mean, the interaction with a lot of my friends that I cared about, deeply years ago, and I still do. I mean, these were in this setting. these were people also that I like. We partied together, like we went to events together, like we went to each other's graduation parties, like, and even some younger people from that I played football with or stuff like that I'm like seeing again, like oh yeah, like this one dude was like, I played football. He's like, yeah. I was like, I think I'm supposed to know you. I told him, I was like, I think we know each other, but I don't remember you at all. He's like, well, I was 2 years younger and you played football on my team, like, and I was like, oh, but then you think back, like, okay, you probably knew about me because I was the older football player, like, right. But I just don't remember you. So it was kind of a funny conversation because we ended up hitting it off, but we had made eye contact a few times, and I could tell he wanted me to say hi, but I'm like, shit, I don't know this dude. I'm like, but I feel like I recognize his face. So if I'm like, bro, like, nice to see you again. I can't remember your name. I know you from somewhere. He's like, oh, I was a couple years younger than you, and I played on your football team. I was like, all right, like, we're good. Like, you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was a couple of those instances where it's like, holy moly, you have changed a lot. And typically that's coming from like a physical appearance standpoint. And then there's also those situations where you start to catch up with someone. It's like, wow, they haven't changed a bit.
Right. Like the 50-30, it's about a 50-50 mix. I mean, some people you're like, wow, like, holy shit, you're not the person I remember. And there were a few of those where I'm just like, I like you way better. I don't care. You guys, I'm not going to point out who it was. But there's people I talk to. I'm like, we get along a lot better now than we did back 10 years ago or 9 years ago. Yeah. And that's so cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, that means you've changed, like you've matured. If you're talking about yourself,
maybe it was me that's changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't have as exciting of a weekend as you did, but I watched a couple of Netflix movies, which I typically don't get into these days, but one of those was I forget the name of it, but it's with Hemsworth. I don't know if you've seen
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Thor.
No, I didn't watch Thor.
No, but he is Thor.
Yeah. Right.
Dude, talk about a fitness freak.
He's not as strong as me over here.
Dude, have you seen this dude?
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
Do you think he's natty, as they would say?
What do you mean? Natural?
Natty, yeah.
I mean, I don't...
And I don't know what you would define as natural, too.
Yeah, that's a good question because, to me, natural just means anything that you can find that's considered a natural supplement.
Like not man-made.
Well, I mean, it could be like man-made protein, but as long as it's got natural ingredients, like...
sure, right.
Like, I would say the only thing that I don't deem as, like, natural... I mean, this is, like, super, like, not to ever dive too deep into it, but, like, people that take roids, like... Yeah, it might help you, but that's not natural. Like that's something you're injecting into your body. But other than that, like anything natural ingredients is all the table. So I would think he is, because you can. I mean, you get a good workout routine and you take the right supplements and you have the right trainers. Like, I mean, look at you. You do it yourself and you're pretty freaking raw. Dude.
I mean, I'm
not trying to gas you up, but like you're a stud and you do it all yourself.
Well, this is perfect for what I was getting into. Like. The premise, and if anyone hasn't seen this movie, then just tune away for the next couple of minutes. But basically, he starts this company and he's like dabbling around with, sorry about that, the right dosage of like certain medications that he's putting in these people. These people are basically... what's the word that I'm looking for? They're inmates. They're incarcerated. So this is like a prison on like an island.
Okay.
And basically, like they signed up for this.
Okay, like they part of the study.
Yeah. Thank you. A study. And yeah, he's messing around with like these medicines and people, and it's kind of fucked up because like. I could see that becoming like a future reality to some extent, right. Where people, and you can already like argue this, where people think that, okay, I need that blue pill. No, I need that orange pill. And you're expecting that orange pill to make you feel better. The blue pill will make you feel, I don't know, a different emotion, things like that. Right. And it's just interesting because again, we all want that instant gratification or that instant relief, whatever it might be that we're looking for, whether it's happiness, strength, perseverance. And people are like, I need that pill. I need this. I need that. And it's like, that's just not how it should work.
There was So what's this movie called?
I'm terrible at remembering the names of movies.
This sounds like similar. So I know you're going with this, and it sounds. There was a movie. The dude that plays. What's the guy? Eagle Eye in. Okay, you haven't seen the Avengers movies, but a lot of people that have seen them. He's Eagle Eye. I can't remember his name, but he's in a movie, and it's like an action movie, and basically it's the Jason. It's the Bourne. It's the Bourne movies. You ever seen Jason?
Matt
Bourne?
Damon?
No, the other guy. He played like another.
It doesn't matter who he is.
Yeah,
Just keep.
He was
on.
in a couple of the movies were about him, and then they brought Jason Bourne back because Jason was like right. So he this movie was all about how like these people that had gone through these programs, government programs, had to take these pills.
Yeah.
And these pills increase their ability to their athletic ability, their ability to function without eating as much food, without as much water, right? Their focus and their strength, their heal, all this stuff. It was just a little pill. They had to take them every single day, and super interesting. Just and I'm kind of comparing the two, but it was simple. It was funny, not funny, but part of the movie. He realizes he's become dependent on these, and he can only get them from the government agency he works for, and without them, he can't function.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes through he basically gets cut out by the agency and has to go track down some and then wean himself off of them. And it's super interesting because it's not far off of some of the drugs that we actually have today that you can go get prescribed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to say that antidepressants or ADHD medicine or painkillers, all that stuff, and a lot of the other things that are out there don't have a place. But a lot of those drugs are
they're misused.
They're misused. They create a super dependency, and they do exactly what you're talking about, which is they give you that
quick fix.
That quick fix. I need a better attention. I'm gonna go take some Adderall. Right. Okay. Now I can focus for 9 hours.
Right.
Even though my body's producing way more serotonin than I should be, because that's what it does. It actually inhibits some things and then it produces more of that feel-good feeling. That's why you hear people that take medicine like that, they think they can conquer the world while they're on it. My point is the amount of stuff that's out there right now that us as human beings are putting into our bodies and making, that we're not that far off of all of a sudden being able to go to a store and buy like you said, a blue pill. And the blue pill is going to take care of X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is people need to try other alternatives before resorting to medication. Again, that's an opinion, but I'm very passionate in the health and wellness space these days. And as you mentioned, I'm not saying that there isn't a time and place, depending on the person and their situation for certain medications, but using an example of maybe someone that's dealing with anxiety. Again, we all have anxiety. Mm-hmm. That's just how we are biologically wired, but maybe if you feel, heightened levels of anxiety, instead of going to a doctor and getting anxiety medicine or something like that, you could dabble around with foods that are high in magnesium, or you could even take a magnesium supplement, and that's supposed to help reduce, how you're feeling when it comes to being anxious.
Right.
Whether or not it's going to fully fix or help to whatever degree you want it to, you won't know if you don't give it a try, right? And that's where I guess I would also say maybe you can have the conversation with your doctor, but don't immediately resort to, oh, I need that pill. Try other things, and then if none of those things work, then maybe try it. That's my take on it.
Look at what your routine is, your eating
exactly.
habits,
There's so many variables.
Habits, and say, okay, well, I'm having anxiety or I'm having this because here's my, if I look back at my weeks of what I typically eat for lunch and dinner and breakfast, I'm not eating much breakfast. I'm eating way too much for lunch, and then for dinner, I'm eating fast food. Well, if you're doing that, your blood sugar is going like this, and your body's not balanced. So your brain is functioning based off of what your body's able to do. So when your body's not balanced, your brain chemicals are not going to be released in a balanced order, right? You have a lot of sugar, it's the feel-good feeling. The serotonin goes up. When it crashes, your serotonin goes way down. So I like that, and I also think the cause and effect. I'm not a against drinking alcohol. I think alcohol is awesome and super fun. I think people should 100% partake in it. Like I'm not a don't drink alcohol, but that's a big anxiety causer in our country and in the world is alcohol. Like and the like, so again, like for that circumstance, like if you're having a lot of anxiety, look at like, are you using a lot of nicotine? Are you drinking at one, every single night? Do you need to tone that back? Start looking at that stuff. And again, same as Hayden, as you said, I'm not against like going to the doctor and having that conversation, but also go to the doctor and be honest. Like when the doctor says, "Do you drink a lot?" Don't say no once or twice. Like if you're drinking every night, you need to tell your doctor, because your doctor might also say the same shit. He might say, well, let's try toning that back.
Change your habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I give you an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medicine,
yeah,
let's see what we can get you there. Maybe let's get you to a nutritionist. Maybe it's your weight. So yeah, I think it's such an amazing where our medicine has come and where it's going, but also like where our food and what we put in our body is
food
going.
is medicine. Exactly. I'll keep saying that.
Like the nutritional aspects of things, you can go to the store and see what every ingredient is on stuff you buy now.
Yeah.
Like it's just amazing.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what the future entails with a lot of that in terms of knowing the best ingredients to put into our body. And again, it's going to be different for you versus me, but there's definitely some overlap in terms of what's consistently good for all humans.
Right. I wanted to ask you this, because you mentioned to me when we were sitting down earlier, you said you were dabbling with intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So what does dabbling mean? Like what?
That means I'm like doing my own research and trying to figure out what that means to me. Like I can tweak the definition of something.
Okay.
Like there's going to be some people that are purists in terms of fasting, and fasting would be to go without food and maybe even water. Like if you think about certain religions, I think is it Muslims that go on, is it Ramadan? Where you're not allowed to like drink water as well, which I think is absolutely asinine.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely asinine, but yeah, basically I'm trying to fast from food for a certain amount of time throughout a given day. So like the first, I'd say 12 hours, I try not to eat food. So like I parlay that into my sleep. So It's not too bad. So basically I am foregoing having a breakfast in the morning, and I'm not doing it every day. I'm tweaking to see how do I feel on days where I'm not eating versus days I am, and also tracking when I am eating the food, what type of food am I putting into my body. So again, I'm moving these levers to see
what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean when I say I'm dabbling around. And it's fascinating to see how my energy has improved. I'm not going to say it's been consistently good, because there are times where it's like, oh, maybe I do need to add a little bit of food into my diet. But at the same time, I think we've been prescribed this notion of we always have to have food in our systems multiple times a day, and a lot of us become dependent on food. Like that's all we think about, or we plan our day around food. Mm-hmm. And if you look back hundreds of thousands of years ago, like we didn't always have easy access to food. Now we can literally go walk up out of our room or out of our chair, on a work day if we're working remote, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go stuff my face with food. It's like, that's probably not the right thing to do, because, you can have these mood swings potentially. And again, I'm getting into very like specific situations, but again, it's just understanding how food and your body react.
Well, I would say like it's kind of, your example you're giving is similar to like when we talk about tech. When we talk about the advancements with tech, like how great and how much better a lot of this tech we're coming up with can make our lives, and how also more complicated it makes our daily decision matrix, right? Or our daily routine, right? You go back to like, and I had this conversation with Ava. We went to this Southwind Trading Post or something like that. It's basically a Native American like shop. So you go and buy like all sorts of like Native American made jewelry and clothes, and it's actually really, really cool. And we were talking about like how awesome it would be, like I was like, well, would you want to live back then? Like I was like, life would be a lot less complicated. I told her like we could hunt for our food. We wouldn't have to worry about snacking. We wouldn't have to worry about having to go to the store. Like your worries, your complications were different. Like you go back to back in the day when we didn't have grocery stores, we didn't have, mass food producers, we didn't have this scale of what we've got now, where you can go to the store and pick your fix, right? You want a Reese's Cup, get a Reese's Cup. You're feeling protein-wise, you got 17 kind of proteins you can get. They all have different ingredients. We didn't have that. And just like tech, now you go to the phone store to get a phone, and you can pick from 19 different plans, 15 different types of phones. There's 5 major providers, basically. You get all these options, and you got all these apps and all these complications. And so I think what's kind of interesting is, like, it's hard. I think it's good in this day and age that we've got all this different access to the type of progress we've made with food and nutrition. That's great, that information. But it would be kind of nice to go back to when, like, you ate what you ate what you killed, or you ate what you farmed, right? You're gonna have potatoes. You're gonna have your basic food groups, and your brain wasn't clogged up with any of that, like you said. Like, I'm not planning around my day around what snacks I'm gonna get or that. Like, I know I eat dinner at this time, and this is what we've got. Like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to consider, oh, well, what do I feel like eating tonight, right? You don't get to go to Chipotle. You get to go home and, have the potatoes and vegetables that you have every single night. So I went a little bit on a rant, but I just saw that similarity between, like, where we're at. There's, like, so many pros, and there's, like, so many more decisions and cons we have to make in our lives now.
Yeah, no, there's so many great points there, Cole. I think it's important to recognize that there are, as you said, so many options out there, whether we're talking food or we're talking technology, and understanding what's best for me. And what I'll say is, do your research, or someone else will do research for you. Mm-hmm. And that might be at the detriment of your own personal well-being. Whether that person or group thinks it's best for you, they could be completely wrong. And that's the scary thing in society. I know I'm kind of talking very vaguely here, but there are certain things that I've seen happening where people think it's the right thing to do. Like, that's the group consensus, but that might not actually be correct. And if you look back like 100 years from now, and there's people that, like, said, no, like, I'm standing my ground, like, those are the people that I want to align with and rock with at the end of the day, because they see something a little bit different than everyone else does. Like, don't go along with the crowd. As I like to preach these days, if you're doing everything that everyone else is doing, you're going to get the same results as everyone else. You're going to get results that aren't any different than anyone else. So you got to be willing to do different things in your life to get new opportunities, or opportunities that other people might not have, at least not right away.
Well, what I hear you saying is, like, let's take the diet as an example. Like, let's take your intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. Kind of what I'm picking up from you, which I 100% align with. And we all struggle with this because of social media and all these different news medias and all this information. We all struggle with this. This is not there's one person out there that doesn't. Everybody does. But people find a way to deal with it, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm hearing you say, which I align with, is that, for you said, I'm pulling the different levers. I'm trying to find, like, I'm dabbling in it. I'm trying to figure out what works for me. And that makes your routine and your needs unique to you. And there's only one Hayden Huber that we know of, but I'm pretty confident there's only one you, right? And you have a unique body, you have a unique mind. It's not replicable. There's not another one out there like you. Mm-hmm. So what makes you, and I'm just using you as an example, think that you should do what John does? Exactly what John does. Right. You're not John, and John's not you.
Right.
You are not the same. You're not the same makeup. So for all of us out there that, it's great to go do research, do the tips, do this and that. But then take what you need, and then take what you want out of that and fit it to who you are as an individual person, and focus on that. Focus on being your unique, and there might be some overlap. What John was doing might work well for you, so incorporate that in. But what John was doing needs to be tweaked a little bit for you. Do that. So I just like that message you're giving, because I think we fall in the trap of, like, even when you go back to these entrepreneurs that are like, I get up at 5 a.m. and I work for 2 hours, and then I meditate, and then I work from, and then I take meetings from 9 to 11:30. It's like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, cool, right. Great. That ain't gonna work for me. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna play that game. Right. What works for me what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. So, play it by ear, figure out what works for you. Be unique, not because it's, oh, I want to be different. Be unique because you are unique.
Damn, that was a good bit right there, Cole. We're gonna have to clip that.
Well, I mean, right? I mean, we're all
bingo.
We want to copy and paste stuff, but that's not how life works.
Stay away from one size fits all solutions is what I'm hearing. Apply what you want in your life. As you said, maybe you see John over there doing some things that you like. Apply what you like in his life to your life, but you don't have to do everything that he's doing, because that means you're not living your life authentically. That means you're trying to go out and do what he's doing or she's doing. So I'm repeating what you're saying. Love it. But yeah, back to I guess really that was it with the movie. I thought the movie was all right. I mean,
I think you gave us a great conversation there.
I did.
And there is another topic that I want to dive. I don't want to dive into it today because I think it needs its own space. But what I want our listeners to look forward to for next episode is I'm gonna throw Hayden. Hayden's looking at me right now, like, what is he thinking right now?
I already know what you're thinking. I can read your mind.
Well, Hayden, you post a lot of videos about what you're doing with your house and different projects, and I see this stuff, and I dabble. And I'm using the word dabble. I dabble in house projects, but I'm not you. I don't want to go do all this stuff. I like to do some stuff, but like some of the stuff you do that I even want to do, I'm like, I've never done it. Where do I start? And I'm like, I don't want to go listen to videos and stuff, or I might want to. So I would like for our one of our next episodes. I think the next one is I want to talk to you, Hayden, about some of the projects you've got going on, how you went about approaching them. I want to know some of the tools you use, like what you've rented versus what you think you need to own for some of this stuff, and how you plan that out. And like, I think the biggest thing that I want to understand is how you have the confidence to do that too. And that's a pretty deep conversation, because some of the stuff you're doing back here, bro, it takes a lot of confidence to go build something attached to your house.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a homeowner. I'm a newer homeowner, but I had a house for about 9-10 months. Actually, we're almost at a year, 11 months.
Congrats.
But like drilling things into my house, like you don't know what you don't know, and that scares me.
Yeah. So
understanding like how you like the confidence behind that, how you've learned this stuff, some do's and don'ts, and just diving into some. I want to learn, and I think our listeners, like we're in summertime right now. This is the DIY time of the year. Like, there's stuff that you want to get done outside your house, around your house. Summertime is the most free you're probably going to be for the most part to get that stuff done. So I want to just pick your brain and learn.
We'll save it for another episode for sure.
Let's do it, bro.
Real quick before we wrap things up, what are your thoughts on maybe someday starting a food label?
I love it.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude, you never know.
Who knows?
It's almost like we've talked about this.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff.
There's limitless opportunities for it.
There are limitless opportunities. I like that a lot, buddy. Well, hey, since you opened, I'm going to sign off for us today. As always, thank you. We are extremely grateful for you listeners out there. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to continue doing what we're doing. We continue to work with some sponsors. We have some new sponsors that we'll be partnering with. Again, we like to tease things, keep you guys interested. Still working on finding the right vendor for our merch. We got some additional designs that we'd like to come out. But again, we have that lovely design right by Cole that will be available to others here soon. And as I like to always say, which is cliche, but who cares? The best is yet to be.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Bye.